Welcome to the deep dive. We take interesting sources, pull out the key insights, and basically give you the shortcut to knowing what's important. And today's a bit special. We're diving into the Weekend Reads You, the Pythonist programmer, shared with us the stuff that caught your eye between July 25th and 27th, 2025. And wow, it's quite a mix. We've got engineering leadership, personal well-being in tech, then we swing over to cutting-edge AI, and even the societal ripples of digital platforms.
It really is a fascinating collection you've put together, and our job today really is to unpack the big ideas, see how they connect, and figure out, what truly matters for you working deep in the tech world.
Right. Let's get into it. We'll start with the people side of tech, because, behind all the code, all the algorithms, it's always about people, isn't it?
Exactly. People first.
So, naturally, that brings us to engineering leadership. What does it actually mean to be good at it?
Well, that first source, become an engineering leader everyone wants to work with, hits that directly. The author, Gregor Ostersek, talks about his own mistake early on.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Thinking he had to know everything, do everything himself, like the supercoder leader.
The classic trap.
Right. But he learned fast that leadership isn't about your own output. It's judged by how well your team does. So the main job becomes basically making others better.
Making others better. That sounds simple, but I bet it's a huge mental shift.
It absolutely is, especially moving from an individual contributor role.
So what do the authors say is the first key thing good leaders do?
Okay, first up, they are team players. And this isn't just, playing nice. It's a real mindset shift from I to we. In tech, things are complex. No one has all the answers, so you need that active mutual support.
Meaning?
Meaning actively looking for ways to unblock your team. Asking, what can I do today to help? Checking in, not just on the work, but like, how was your weekend? Builds real trust.
Little things matter.
Huge. And consciously sharing knowledge, fighting those knowledge silos where only one person knows how something works, that's crucial for team resilience.
Okay, so being a proactive team player, what comes after that? The article mentions creating a positive environment.
Yes, number 2, they create a positive work environment. Obviously, this means avoiding gossip and drama, but the real power, according to the source, celebrating the small wins.
Small wins, not just big project launches.
Exactly. Think about it. If a project takes 6 months, that's a long time to wait for any positive feedback.
True. People need encouragement along the way.
Right. So it's about the daily stuff. A great job on a pull request, positive feedback in a code review, even just an encouraging Slack message. The author even mentions small things like showing up to virtual meetings with your camera on, smiling. It sounds minor, but it builds connection, boosts morale, creates psychological safety.
Psychological safety, that feels really important, especially when things go wrong. How do good leaders handle mistakes then? Because blame can just kill a team's vibe.
Totally, which leads straight to the third trait. They don't blame. Rather, they collectively look to improve things. Blame just destroys motivation. It makes people afraid to take risks.
So what's the alternative?
When something breaks, you frame it as a problem in the process. Was it the code review process? Not enough automated testing? An issue with QA?
Focus on the system, not the person.
Precisely. It's about building a blameless culture where the focus is 100% on finding a solution and learning from it. If someone needs individual feedback, that happens privately, constructively, not in a public shaming session.
Building resilient systems, including the human parts. What about developing people individually?
That's number 4. They coach and mentor teammates. Regular one-on-ones are key here. And not just for talking about code.
Soft skills, too.
Absolutely crucial. Things like clear communication, collaborating effectively, learning how to give and receive feedback. These are vital. And here's something powerful the source points out. Leaders sharing their own struggles, their own mistakes, their vulnerabilities.
That takes courage.
Does it work? Immensely. It builds incredible trust. It shows that even experienced people face challenges, makes the mentorship feel more real, more relatable, It's learning through real stories.
So the leader isn't the untouchable expert, but more like a guide who's also learning.
Exactly. Less hero coder, more guide on the side.
Which sounds like it connects to the final trait, empowering the team.
You got it. The last one. They empower and uplift the team. The leader as a multiplier.
A multiplier. Explain that.
Well, think about it. Making 5 people on your team 20% better is way more impactful than you improving your own coding by 20%.
Right, leverage.
Exactly. So you can't be stuck in the weeds, micromanaging everything. You give people clear boundaries, clear goals, and then you give them ownership. Real ownership of problems, not just tasks.
And let them run with it.
Pretty much. The author says you might be positively surprised by how driven and motivated everyone is going to be to resolve the challenges when they actually own the problems. Trust them.
That's a really people-centric view of leadership in a technical field. Okay, so that covers the team dynamics. But what about the individual, especially individuals who might process things differently?
Right. Healthy teams need healthy individuals. And this is where we shift to that next source. Life begins when you realize you're weird.
Catchy title.
It is. And it talks about that often overwhelming moment of realizing you're neurocomplex. Maybe autistic, ADHD, gifted, or some combination, wired differently.
What does that realization feel like, according to the article?
It's complex. Often it happens later in life. There's relief. That's why I struggled with X or Y. But also grief, for the years spent masking or trying to fit into a mold that just wasn't you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the core message is really empowering. It says, basically, your real life begins at that point of acceptance. Embracing your unique wiring, your unique operating system.
And that unique wiring often means unique communication styles, right? Which brings us to too deep for small talk.
Perfect transition. Yeah, this piece explains why many neurocomplex adults find small talk, well, painful. They crave substance, the marrow, not the skin, as the article puts it.
Deeper conversations.
Yeah. Deeper, layered, conceptual, maybe more emotionally honest talk. It's just how their brains often prefer to connect. Surface-level stuff can feel draining or pointless.
Okay, so for you, the listener, maybe recognizing yourself in this, what can you do? How do you navigate a world often built on small talk?
The article offers some great practical strategies. First, find your people. Seek out depth-ready individuals or contexts where nuance is welcome. Not everyone wants deep talk all the time, and that's okay.
Makes sense. Don't force it.
Right. You can also try leading with layered questions, but gently, like, what's something you've been thinking about lately? It invites depth without demanding it.
I like that. What else?
Practice self-inclusion with framing, not apology. Instead of saying, sorry if this is too deep, maybe try, my brain likes jumping into big questions sometimes. Feel free to steer us back if you prefer. It's just being transparent.
Own your style.
Exactly. Also, try parallel connection, like talking while walking or doing a shared activity. It lowers the pressure, the sensory load.
Oh, interesting. Less direct eye contact, maybe.
Could be part of it. And redefine deep. It's not just intellectual. It's about honesty, truth. Finally, and this is key, release the need to be understood by everyone. Choose environments where your kind of depth is valued.
That feels liberating. Okay, so we've talked leadership, individual wiring, communication, which naturally leads to burnout. A huge issue in tech.
Huge. And that's where the source, when burnout says, this life no longer feels like mine, comes in with a really powerful reframe.
The reframe. How so?
It introduces Kazimierz Dabrowski's idea of positive disintegration.
Positive disintegration. Sounds intense.
It is. It's painful. It's when your old self, your old ways of coping kind of break down. But it's not just breaking down. It's breaking down to make space for a more authentic self to emerge.
So different from just being exhausted.
Very different. The article puts it starkly. Burnout is exhaustion. Positive disintegration is transformation. For many neurocomplex people, burnout might actually be this threshold, a chance to unmask, deconstruct, and become more truly themselves.
Wow. How would you know if what feels like burnout is actually this?
The source lists 7 signs that your breakdown might be an evolutionary threshold. Want me to run through them quickly?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. 1, your old coping mechanisms just don't work anymore. 2, you lose interest in rules or goals that used to define you. Maybe that high achiever identity feels hollow now. Disillusionment.
Okay.
3, you're emotionally volatile, maybe, but also more honest. 4, you start questioning the structures you used to fit into. Work, relationships, society.
Seeing things differently.
Exactly. 5, you're actively shedding old identities and grieving them. 6, you feel lost, maybe, but you have zero desire to go back to how things were.
No turning back.
Right. And 7, a deep gut feeling that this isn't just a breakdown, it's a reckoning. It's not about being broken, it's about evolving.
That's a profound way to look at a really tough experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've really dug into the human side. Let's shift gears now to the tech itself, the tools, the platforms, the AI. Good transition.
Yeah.
And there's a practical update first for software folks.
Yeah. The source. Say hello to HF, a faster, friendlier Hugging Face CLI. Big news for anyone using Hugging Face.
Why does that change?
They've renamed the command line tool. It used to be Hugging Face CLI, which is a bit clunky. Now it's just HF.
HF. Simple? Easier to type?
Much easier. And the command structure is cleaner now, too.
Yeah.
HF resource action.
Yeah.
More predictable.
Nice. Any other features?
Yeah, a big one. HF Jobs, it lets you run scripts or even Docker images directly on Hugging Face's infrastructure, pay-as-you-go billing.
Oh, cool. So like running Docker commands, but in their cloud.
Basically, yeah. It streamlines deploying and running models or processing jobs. Definitely a quality of life improvement for developers in the AI space.
Okay, useful tool update. Now let's zoom out. There's a piece here, PageRank in the Age of AI by Ed Tungus, that talks about a really fundamental shift in how online content works because of AI.
This one is fundamental. It's a really interesting analogy. It suggests the internet is becoming like the online ad market with fewer ads.
Fewer ads. How does that work?
So instead of bidding money for ad placement, publishers are essentially bidding their content to inform AI responses. Think of it like a real-time auction.
An auction for AI attention.
Kind of. When you ask an AI like Gemini a question, it rapidly evaluates potential content sources based on quality metrics: relevance, accuracy, freshness, authority. Not money.
So it's like PageRank, Google's original idea, but for AI answers in real time.
That's exactly the analogy the author uses. PageRank for real-time AI responses. It's ranking content quality, not just links, on the fly.
Okay, so what are the implications? If content has to constantly win this quality auction to be seen by the AI.
It means every piece of content is fighting for attention in a new way. Publishers only get traffic, only get attribution if their stuff consistently wins on merit, according to the AI's criteria.
Does that mean niche content, or maybe content that's harder for AI to evaluate, might lose out?
That's a major question it raises. Will it consolidate attention around AI-optimized content? How will creators adapt? How will the economics of quality content production change? It's a huge shift in how information might get discovered and consumed online. Fewer ads, maybe, but a different kind of battle for visibility.
A merit-based, real-time content fight.
Wow.
Okay, that leads us into potentially trickier territory. Content control, platform moderation, and the pressures involved.
Right. And the next source, Steam and itch.io are pulling porn games, dives right into that complexity.
What's happening there?
It details how these game marketplaces, itch.io and Scheme, are de-indexing or removing games labeled as adult or NSFW.
Why now?
The article says it's largely due to pressure from external groups like Collective Shout, an Australian conservative group. They're not just lobbying the platforms, they're targeting the payment processors, MasterCard, Visa.
Hitting the money flow.
Exactly, threatening to cut off financial services if the platforms host this content.
And what are the concerns around this?
Critics, including many developers, see it as censorship. They're worried about a slippery slope.
How so?
They argue it disproportionately harms vulnerable creators, queer developers, women, people of color who often explore complex themes, sometimes tagged as adult. And the article notes that the net seems overly broad. Games dealing with topics like eating disorders, Consume Me, or domestic abuse, Last Call, got caught up just because of broad NSFW tags, even without depicting sexual abuse.
So the definition of adult is part of the problem.
That's a central point of debate. The piece highlights the conflict, freedom of expression versus claims of protecting users, often women, and developers worry this could lead to any LGBTQ plus content being labeled adult by default and pushed off major platforms. It's a really complex issue with significant consequences for creators.
Definitely sounds like it. And these online issues, content moderation, social media, they have real-world impacts, often harsh ones. Which brings us to the last source.
Yes. Middle school cheerleaders made a TikTok video portraying a school shooting. They were charged with a crime.
Just reading that title is jarring. What happened?
Some middle schoolers made a frankly ill-advised 45-second TikTok video depicting a school shooting scenario. They ended up charged with disorderly conduct. The context, the article explains, was heightened sensitivity and authorities grappling with the surge of online threats after a real school shooting elsewhere. The police response emphasized accountability through the court system.
But did charging them actually help? What do experts say?
Well, school violence experts quoted in the piece argue pretty strongly against it. They say arrests and expulsions in cases like this don't actually make schools safer.
Why not?
Because it often shows a lack of understanding of adolescent behavior, online culture, and how to assess actual threats versus, poor judgment or misinterpreted digital communication.
So there are other examples.
The article gives several stark ones. A 16-year-old expelled and charged over a private AI-generated video meant as a joke. A 12-year-old arrested just for sharing a threatening screenshot they received, trying to warn others. An 11-year-old handcuffed. These weren't credible threats, just misinterpretations leading to severe consequences.
So what's the alternative path? How should schools handle this stuff?
The source highlights the need for training. Training school officials to properly assess threats using frameworks like those from Safer Schools Together to distinguish real danger from, kids being kids online, sometimes stupidly.
Understanding intent.
Exactly. There's an example from Collierville schools. Instead of immediate expulsion or arrest for a student who faked a threat, they focused on why the student did it and developed a management plan. Education over punishment. The student involved in the AI video case even said later that being allowed back in school to talk about their experience might have been a better deterrent for others than just being kicked out. It suggests a more nuanced restorative approach is possible and maybe more effective.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground today. Seriously deep dives, from leading teams with empathy, understanding different wirings,
to how AI is fundamentally changing the content game, and these really thorny ethical issues around platform control and real-world consequences of online actions.
It's incredible how interconnected it all is. For you, the Pythonist programmer who curated these sources, it really shows how the tech you build doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Absolutely. These insights shape not just your technical decisions, but your whole understanding of the ecosystem you're working in, the impact you have, and maybe even how you navigate your own career and well-being within it.
So reflecting on all this, how fast our digital world is changing, the pressures on individuals, the pressures on platforms, it leaves us with a big question. Here's something for you to think about. Considering all this, how can we, as the people who create and manage technology, how can we best advocate for and actually build systems that prioritize human well-being, authentic connection, and truly informed decision-making, rather than just optimizing for efficiency or control?